What's going on, guys? Welcome to the episode 4 of Property is a Game of Finance. Today we are joined by the Resimac BDM, Logan Hilton. How you going, mate?
Good, thanks, Jack. How are you?
Good. So today we're going to talk about pretty much what a BDM is for brokers, because as brokers, we deal with BDMs a lot. So I thought it'd be good to get a BDM in and have a chat. A little bit of how we met as well, because I think that's a pretty cool story. So I think, first time I heard about you was when Tim used to work for Organic Home Loans and you were roommates. And he used to always say like, oh, my mate works in banking, he's a BDM. And I didn't even know what BDM was, but we didn't actually start talking until I had a deal.
Yeah, that's right.
Or you reached out because you heard the numbers I was doing, and then you reached out, let's be honest.
That's what you like to think. No, reached out, as you said, my old housemate Tim used to work for your company, and then he told me that you become a broker, so I wanted to reach out, obviously see if we could do some business together.
Yeah, so you had no idea about my numbers then?
No, I honestly didn't have
Really?
any. Yeah, that's right.
All right. That's all right then. Yeah. So I think how I really started doing business with you, because BDMs contact us all the time and they're trying to get business for their bank. But when I heard about the niches with Resimac, that's when I really started to put a lot of business with you, especially getting deals off Facebook. You get a lot of people, all the different shapes and sizes. So the tricky scenarios, Resimac can really help with that. You got multiple products. So tell us a little bit about the products that you guys do.
So I just wanted to ask you a question. You mentioned about the Facebook marketing. So I know that when we started to workshop scenarios together, you mentioned you'd invested a bit in marketing, targeting clients who had credit impairment. So do you just want to tell me a little bit about that and how that's working for you and your business?
Yeah, well, I didn't really mean to target credit impairment, but I think the part of the ad was talking about how a lot of people that go to a bank, they get turned away because, they don't fit that one policy. But as a broker, as you know, we've got heaps of options. We've got like 30 options minimum. So if you get turned away from a bank, we can look at other avenues for you. It's not just as simple as, this one lender said no, so you can't do it. But a big one was credit scoring. Now, credit scoring is like when you pull up a credit report, it'll have all your inquiries over the last 5 years. It'll have all your existing loans. It'll have your repayment history. So if you've got perfect credit, right? You've got perfect repayment history. You've made your repayments on time all the time, but you've got 10 credit card inquiries because you want to chase frequent flyer points. Your credit score would be too low for the major banks in some cases. So that's that was one of the most popular products that I was using with Resimac. You don't credit score, right? So do you actually look at the repayment history on the credit report though?
So we don't credit score and we don't do comprehensive credit reporting. So what we will do is we'll audit the personal Equifax report and the company Equifax report, so we can see the facilities, the amount of the facilities listed. Yep. But that's why when brokers are submitting loans with Resimac, they need to cover off on the last 12 months of credit inquiries and the outcome of each.
Yeah.
But in terms of, say, a refinance, we're only looking at the statements being provided. So if you're refinancing a home loan, we're looking at the repayment conduct on those most recent 6 months of statements and the most recent 3 months for credit cards and personal loans.
Okay.
If there's facilities outside of that are remaining with the existing bank, we're not going to see the repayment history on that because we're not looking at that CCR report.
Yeah. See, that was one of the interesting things that I found, because there were a few missed payments here and there. And if you trying to take that to another lender, they're going to have issues with it, but you guys don't even look at it. And on the Prime product is like, I was getting rates with you guys on Prime that were better than what the majors were offering when it was not 100% clear and the credit scoring wasn't the best, and it probably would have been auto declined from one of the majors, and you take it to Resimac, you get a better deal anyway. So I found that really interesting. But you've also got near prime specialists, right?
That's right. So you mentioned Prime. So Prime is sort of your standard product that can assist everyday PAYG self-employed clients, preferably clean credit history as well. Self-employed requirements need to be 2 years trading. Now we also have the Prime AltDoc product, which enables customers to verify their income via alternate methods. So self-employed customers generally need to provide 2 years company financials, tax returns, personal tax returns for every entity that they have. Whereas AltDoc, they might be able to verify their income via either an accountant's declaration, 6 months most recent BAS, or 3 months business bank statement. So It's quite a popular product. I'd say sort of 50 to 60% of the business that I do runs through the alt doc channel. And it's a good option for those businesses that may have, been impacted the last sort of 2 years throughout COVID. However, say the last 6 to 8 months, they've been able to trade without interruption. So if we were to look at, say, 2019 and 2020 or 2020 and 2021 financials, it's not going to benefit the customer, because obviously since those most recent tax returns have been lodged, there may have been significant changes in the business by being able to trade in without interruptions, hired additional staff. They might have invested in marketing, reduce their expenses. So there is other options out there for those customers.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess with every bank has a BDM. Yeah, like every bank is going to have a BDM that has a book of brokers, and it's their job to look after these brokers. So a typical scenario would be I get a deal, he tells me what's going on. I now know the Resimac policy enough to kind of put it there, but in the early stages, when you're trying to learn that policy, you really lean on the BDM. So you send the email with the scenario, give some detailed notes, and the BDMs are there to help out. And yeah, even when there's emergencies, deals need escalating, that's your contact at the bank. So that's kind of what a BDM does.
So going back to a bit more about what the BDM does, so I think it's a big piece is the education piece. So as you said before, when we first started, talking and building that working relationship, I've got to educate you to ensure you understand the policy. And I shouldn't just assume that you may have read the policy or you understand the scenario. So I think it's about being curious, asking more questions, and providing you further information as well. Emails are always good, because then that allows the broker to refer back for future scenarios as well, what we worked on the previous time. But it's about building trust and building a strong relationship, so that the broker and the BDM, develop that strong relationship. You trust the BDM that they're going to be able to get things done, or when things are urgent, or sometimes an exception may need to be put up. And if the BDM's there to support you, there's a good chance that it's going to get approved.
Yeah, emails are good, but phone calls are better.
Yeah, phone calls always.
But you're right. Like a lot of brokers would just make assumptions, but not all policies are the same. So if you're listening to someone tell you about a policy and you think that's something, you just have to say, oh, what about this? I'll make sure this, like that really helps. And I think one of the main reasons I use you, and the reasons why sometimes it doesn't go to another lender, is because BDMs just don't answer their phone.
It's BDM 101, answer your phone, be responsive.
That's broker 101 as well.
Yeah.
But you still see brokers that don't do that.
Yeah, that's
right. I don't get it. So,
yeah.
And it's the same thing. Like if a customer calls a broker and it's a fresh lead, right? And their friend's giving them a lead and say, oh yeah, call this broker. Doesn't answer the phone. Where do you think that person's going to go?
That's right.
Same with the bank BDM. Like if a broker has a scenario and we're trying to get in touch with the BDM to try and figure out where it's going, and you don't answer the phone, the next phone call is to another BDM, and the chances are you might lose a deal.
Yeah, there's endless options out there for clients to speak with different mortgage brokers, and there's endless options for brokers to choose a BDM and the lender they want to work with. So, being responsive, providing accurate information, sometimes you're not going to get it right, but then working on a solution with the broker and owning that mistake to ensure you get the right outcome for the broker and customer, I think is very important.
Mate, spoken like a politician. Look at you go. Look at you go. So you said you were in banking for 3 years, right?
So it's just on 4 years. So prior to finance, I was in the army, artillery. So
I could see that.
I was posted in Townsville for 4 years as a forward observer.
Yeah.
And then started to look at sort of what I could do long term on the outside.
You got to hit me up next year for 2 Up, man. Come on. It's my favourite day of the year.
That is a great day. First role out of the army was just entry-level role into Westpac in a call centre. And then we actually had a relationship manager and BDM team come and present to us about the Westpac product. So that was always something that I knew I wanted to get into from there. From that role, moved across to Australian Finance Group, one of Australia's largest aggregators, as a relationship manager BDM. Moved into Westpac Business Banking. That's where I got my credit experience. Learned how to write business deals and residential.
You weren't in a branch?
No, that's right. I wasn't in a branch. So we were based in George Street in the city, which is where the main business banking centre is.
Yeah.
Learned my credit experience, and now I've been at Resimac now for just over 12 months.
Yeah, nice. So what were you doing as a business banker?
As a business banker, so we could deal direct to customer or get business from mortgage brokers.
Oh, yeah.
We would assist with up to $3 million in business loans or up to $7.5 million in residential.
Yeah, wow. So now you've been at Resimac for 2 years, you say?
Just over 12 months. So whereas at Westpac I was writing the deal,
Yeah.
having to find the customer, settle the loans. Now it's more so just have an existing portfolio of mortgage brokers. It's about growing that portfolio, building strong relationships with those brokers and workshopping the scenarios and recommending the correct product for the broker and the client.
Yeah. Well, I'd be careful, man, because there's millions of people watching this podcast and you're probably going to get headhunted. So it's one of the big banks is going to come pick you up, man. Just be careful. Don't give your Instagram out because seriously. So what are your future plans after Resimac?
Haven't thought of
with
future
Resimac.
plans yet.
CEO?
CEO. No, definitely like to keep growing within the company, master my craft. I've received some good advice over the years from mentors and people who've been in finance for a long time.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I guess the consistent piece of advice is always master your craft. So, I'm still learning, always learning new things every day. So, yeah, continue to learn more, master my craft at Resimac and see where that takes me.
So what are the future plans for Resimac in the ever-changing finance market? Interest rates are increasing. What do you see with interest rates as well? And what's Resimac planning for the future?
Look, so in terms of, I guess, we're trying to improve the customer and broker experience. So there's a lot of enhancements and technology upgrades going on in the background, which will improve the pre-credit stage when we first receive the application and the way that credit is able to assess the files. So the way that the information is received from the broker in our internal CRM, it's going to be a lot easier and enable the credit assessors to carry out their assessment faster, which will obviously improve the broker experience. We're working on a new online banking platform and mobile app. So there's a few exciting things happening in the background, but these things, the implementation process takes time.
Yeah.
But the brokers will yield the benefits from these changes.
Yeah.
In terms of interest rates, with the most recent increase, Resimac did raise our rates by 0.25, and it's hard to say what will come next, but it's likely to be that we will move in line with the RBA increases.
Yeah. Do you see many more coming this year?
It's hard to say.
Give us advice.
I can't give advice. But what I can say is, I guess the existing loans that Resimac does have, a majority of the clients are actually ahead of their repayments.
Yeah.
So I think that's given, a lot of lenders the comfort to continue to increase with the RBA.
And it's not as significant, like 0.25% interest rate increase isn't as significant as people might think. I know the media blows it up to try to scare people and get eyes on the TV, but when I look at the repayments of what it does, I mean, it depends if you've got a massive portfolio and
That's right.
You've got no cash buffers and the yields are quite low, then maybe it'll hit you harder. But if you've got cash buffers built in already and, your interest rates are already pretty discounted on a low variable. But what I see as well, like I just did a refinance for someone. They were on a 4.2 or 3.8% with a lender that's offering their new to bank like 2.2. And even when that rate increase comes in and all the banks lift their variable that they're offering their new to bank, their existing book, they'll up that rate as well. That's right. Why is that?
It's hard to say, but I guess that's where brokers, that's where their role comes into play.
Yeah.
Reviewing the existing customers, new customers. Sometimes it might not even be about refinancing the customer away from that lender. You might approach that lender directly and see what they can offer you. So sometimes it goes back to best interest duty. Yeah.
Well, I've done that as well. Like sometimes I'll say, like they'll come to me, they'll have a lower rate. I'll say, look, they're offering their new to bank customers pretty sharp rates. We could just go to them directly and get it. And they're like, well, why didn't they give it to me in the first place? Like, why am I on this rate if they're offering their low to bank? So then they just get the shits and want to leave anyway. So yeah, it's tricky. Like I couldn't believe it. And I mean they also had three other debts that we consolidated. And once we finished the refinance, they were like, okay, so our repayment that we're paying just with our bank loan was what it is. After the refinance, including all our other debts, plus an increase on the loan to Renault, they were paying less than what they were already paying.
Yeah, that's a really good outcome.
Well, it happens all the time, man. I don't know why. I wonder if, like, obviously they're making money, right? It's a bank. They're making money. But I wonder if they would, because you get a lot of refinances. If they're on a higher rate and they're not going to pass down the discount or look after their existing book, they're going to lose customers. But I wonder if they make a lot more just by having them on that higher rate, rather than just thinking that, oh, they're not going to refinance. I wonder if it's that.
Well, I guess it's going to become more important now as well as all lenders start to increase their rates. Existing customers that you referred to before that are on that higher rate, I guess if the lender isn't going to come to them first to help them out, then there'll be a big increase in refinances. So
Yeah,
I think a lot of lenders...
Look at how many refinances happened in the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
So, because I've heard that as well. Like buyer's agents I've been talking to a few buyer's agents, and they're expecting that not as many people are going to be buying over the next few years. They're just expecting that. Not sure why. I guess I understand the sentiment might be a little bit down, rates going up, people a little bit more fearful. They're just trying to wait. But in terms of finance, like I thought we were doing really good with refinances last year, but now even more when rates are going up, people are going to start looking at their rates and going, hey, like, maybe I should refinance this.
You mentioned before, so we'll just refer to the 0.25 increase, which has just recently occurred. But so the brokers need to educate the clients, and the clients need to understand as well, the bank's already assessing their loan at 3% higher as well. So that buffer is already factored in. I think where it will affect customers is these 0.25, whatever these future increases may be, is obviously borrowing capacity. First home buyers' borrowing capacity is obviously going to decrease as the rates start to increase. So
yeah. Yes, that's true. But yeah, like you said, I want to touch on that again. So if you're going to a bank and you're getting a 2.5% rate, right, they're going to assess your ability to make those repayments on 5.5%, for example. So, and that's on all your existing loans as well. So they kind of put those safety nets in for you, and 5.5 interest rate. Imagine seeing that. Imagine seeing that.
It's been a long time. I think everyone's obviously been quite lucky over the last sort of 10 years. Rates have been so low. So it's an interesting time that we're all approaching, you know, people who have their first property. I've got my first property now, so it'd be just interesting to see. I think everyone will just have to adjust their lifestyle.
I was about to say to you just then, I was like, what's going on, mate? You didn't come to me for your finance. What's happening there? But I actually met your broker at the awards night a couple of weeks ago. I got invited to an awards night from another bank, and then I saw Logan there, and then I was just chilling with him the whole night. It was good to see everyone though, man. It was very motivating. Like first time going to one of those awards nights and seeing like the top 1% of brokers, the best BDMs, everyone was there. Just looking at there was like 30 different award categories. And
that's right.
There's so many things that are happening, and a lot of ideas that I got, especially from the thought leader one, how they donate a portion of their commissions to charity.
Yeah, Birdie Wealth, they're amazing.
Small percentage, man, but over time, that is massive. Like the effect that you can have on a charity like that.
That's right.
So I'm going to work on a few things to do with that as well.
Yeah.
It was good. Took me under your wing at that awards night, man. Thanks for that.
That's okay.
It was a great night. Yeah.
So what upcoming plans do you have for your business? I know you've recently, sort of in the last 6 months, you're being assisted by, is it 10 Times Broker, or what's the company that you've engaged?
Yeah, 10X Broker Vault is the company that I engaged with, because I was having some growing pains. I was growing pretty quick, and I just needed some help, needed some guidance just with managing a business that's growing that quick, and making sure the process is huge. Because when I got into it, you know, I got help pretty quick because they saw that it was worth investing in staff to assist me with my deals. And yeah, it started off with 1, then it quickly got to 2, and then 3. So now I've got 4 people that are helping me, but I've got another 2 people that are starting soon. So 10X was kind of brought on, and I engaged with them really quickly. And I didn't even sign up with them initially. What they said, they gave me some advice. And then it was like 3 months later, I came back to them for more. And I said, look, I'm just going to sign up. And yeah, it's been 6 months now since I've signed up with them. So they're a company that help mortgage broking businesses just improve their business, improve their systems, improve their sales, which I didn't need much help on, and improve their staff, like giving the staff direct, like, this is your job description, follow these
empowering
steps.
Your staff.
Oh yeah, like we got a pretty good environment here, I must say. Everyone's very happy. It's good pace. It's very good. But I think the growing pains was something that I had to address, because you get one happy customer and it could turn into 3. like within a month of, as soon as you deal with them, if you do a really good job, and with all the activity we've seen in the last 12 months, if you do a good job, they're going to send you, like I had one client from Perth, and then now I have 8. I did his loan, like just one client, and it turned into a network of all Perth clients, and they're all in the mines.
So what did you do differently for that one client that made him want to refer
Well,
other
it's
people?
it's not super complicated. You answer your phone, you respond to them, you do the right thing by them, and just keep them informed throughout the whole process. It's not super hard. Like, I think a lot of it comes from them liking you as a person, because you do get to know these people. You ask them about everything, man. Like the amount of stuff you have to go through with the client just to get their loan to submission and settlement.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So if you do a good job by them, they're gonna send you a deal. Now, this guy sent me 3 in 1 month, right? And that was one person, right? I submitted 27 applications. So that's 20, like just last month. That's 27 people that could send me a deal or 2. And then I've got all the marketing that I'm doing as well. So the rate of growth was very high. Now I'm investing in the podcast. That was a 10x idea. Getting just more and more staff, but making sure that we're using the systems and processes so that deals are not being left on the back burner. Everything is done in order. Everything is compliant. That's everything, man. Because growing that quick, some people will cut corners. So relying on the team, bringing in the business, that's my job. But having the team there that can do the deal with me is everything. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to keep up that same responsiveness.
The common theme here is process and people. And I think so you've done definitely the right thing by investing early in the process, and now you're investing in the people. I feel once a broker starts to scale their business from say 10 to 20 million a year to 50 million a year, if you're still struggling to work out your process, these applications and, holding the customer meeting, you're never going to have a set process. It's going to be changing every time. So getting process in place up front is very important. And then you pass that on to your staff when you're training them as well. Yeah. So it's you essentially want the broker business to be running like a conveyor belt. The customer comes in, you're the face of the business, you speak to them, you hand it off to your next staff member. And that's ideally how you'd like to keep it flowing.
10x call it a sausage factory. build your sausage factory. But you're right, man. It's you can't just throw people at the problem and expect it to get better. It's more, the process is like an extra group of staff. It's, especially the systems that you use. There's a lot of tools out there for brokers to help manage their workflow and do everything in order. But the people is mad. I love that team environment, because I grew up playing sport all my life, and that team environment is everything. You did say there, when your business grows from 10 to 20 million a year, I'm almost doing that per month, right?
Yeah, but the average industry standard in the first 12 months of a broker, I think, is around $14 to $16 million. So you did very well in your first year.
You're living off migareens or something?
But everyone's got to start somewhere. So that broker might double that next year, or they might, and it happens, everyone's got a starting point.
Oh man, it blows up out of nowhere. Like, I was at Australian Mortgage Options since I was like 21. I was really young when I started there, and I was still on the milk run, just working there, because I did that since I was 16. I was doing the milk run since I was 16. I could do that and then go out and do anything I wanted during the day, like if I didn't like sleep. So I decided to start doing mortgage broking to just on the side, because I knew it took so much time to build up. So literally, I was well below the average in my first year. I probably did 3 deals. So that's, but I wasn't doing it full time. And I wasn't really, if I was in the office and I was like getting leads, like cold calling, doing all that, maybe I could have done a lot better. But I think my attitude was a bit different at that time, being so young, wanting to go to Europe every year and just...
Your priorities change. And I believe you're about to have a baby soon, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, you go from wanting to holiday to potentially not invest your time and resources into important things. Now you're focusing a lot more on your business. And what did you settle for this year? Was it around $60 million?
Well, if you go from July to July, I think it was 90 million. Yeah. That's... But it's going to double. I want to double that. And I think I can. With 10X has changed the game, man. The way they give me confidence. They give me the confidence to grow that quickly, because when it first started happening, I didn't know how to handle it. I was like, I had a expectation of myself on how good I wanted to be for my clients. I wanted to answer the phone. Man, you hear some sob stories. Seriously, like these people need your help. Like these, I'd say more than half of the applications I do is people that are like, they really need this, because what we can do for their cash flow, like consolidating debts, refinancing for a better interest rate, it changes the game, man. Like some people would be, on a household income of 100K and then end up saving $500 a week just from a refinance.
It's a big difference.
It's massive.
And
man.
if you're able to assist these clients like that, they're going to be very sticky. They're going to stay with you, and that's where the referrals come in.
Yeah. Arjun, who was been on this podcast, he said, because his missus is a broker as well, and he said that your second and third year is when things get really, really big. And I think because I had done it for so long with Australian mortgage options, but it wasn't full time. It was just, I was young, I was doing it on the side, I was bringing in business, but I wasn't really doing it as much as I am when I started at Organic. And when I started at Organic, it just exploded. Like within 3 months, it just exploded. And we're running out of seats in the office. We're going to have to get a bigger office because there's just so many people coming. There's so much things happening. And yeah, I'm just so grateful, man. So grateful. It's changed my life.
It's good to hear. And so it's really good that you've engaged 10X so early on in the piece as well, because there's always going to be someone out there that knows the craft better than you do. So why not engage them? That might speed up your process and improve your process, save you 6 to 12 months, because you might be trying to figure it out. There's always going to be someone out there who's already done it, already helped someone with it. So why not engage that external party?
Yeah, I've always been like that though. I think they said you've got to wait a little bit to get more established. But when I had the meeting, they pretty much said you're ready. Because I knew I said all the right things. I knew all the right things like marketing wise, but I just needed that extra little bit of guidance, and that's what they offered. So yeah, it was good.
And I think what's also important is, you mentioned you've grown your staff to, was it 4?
It's 4 now. No, wait, it's 5 now. But I got 2 more coming on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So having all your staff members align with your vision, where you want to take the business, because if they can all buy into that, take them on the journey with you, everyone's going to remain motivated, and you're just going to work in sync. Everything's going to run a lot smoother in the office as well.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see all these people come back, because last year, man, there was some crazy fixed rates going around, like where the fix was much lower than the variable, and a lot of people opted in for that fixed. But as you know, when a fix rolls over to a variable, there's a revert rate. And not all the time is that revert rate the same as what they're offering their new to bank customers, which brings us back to that point. All I need to do is call them up, hey, your fixed period's run out. This is what the revert rate is. This is what they're offering their new to bank. This is what we could do of a refinance. And just having that conversation, that's my existing customers, right? A lot of those are going to do something there. And then by bringing in all the other stuff, man, it's going to be a good year.
Just on that point as well, so you mentioned the fixed rate expiry. I'm sure your CRM that you use with your aggregator already allows you to do this, but setting reminders for yourself 2 months prior to that fixed rate expiring, allocating that to your staff members, calling through, so that by the time that fixed rate rolls around, you've already explored other options, whether it be with the existing lender or getting ready to refinance. That way you're not on the back foot. You don't want the customer to come to you. You want to be approaching them first.
Being proactive, not reactive.
That's right.
That's right. And that's something that 10X, they're going to, even if I'm not just going to stay on them for 2 years, there's someone that I'm going to have on forever. Like the level of experience that they have hundreds of brokers, man, that they deal with and they've dealt with, and they've had very long-standing business. Yeah. So I don't see why I would ever not work with them, because even when I do grow the company to a certain point and think, I don't really need them, but really for the price you pay and the value you get out of them, it's going to be, and the industry is always going to change. So if you're in a community of brokers like that and you're able to bounce off each other and work on your tech and new softwares, it's a no-brainer, man. I'm always going to be a part of it. So it's still early days though, but they do a lot of meetups and networking. So I'm looking forward to that.
So when you say meetups and networking, are you meeting other brokers there as well?
Yeah.
And these brokers would be running various sizes of businesses as well.
Man, I remember I was speaking to one of the connective BDMs and I was telling them about 10X, and she went on their website and she was looking at the brokers that were on 10X, and she's like, oh, there's three of our biggest connective brokers right there. And see, they're big time, but they've stayed on. Yeah. So they obviously need that there's going to be more value to provide. It's not just, oh, help me get my business set up and then see you later. So now you build a community of brokers that are working together to continue improving, because it's always going to change, this market. You have to stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
You can't do that alone.
You always want to be surrounding yourself by people who are doing, so you don't never want to be the smartest person in the room. So at those types of events, I feel like you're always going to gain value out of that. Yeah. A lot of these brokers are, they've walked the path that you're about to walk in terms of the growth phase.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Can't wait for the next awards night, man. I got an email yesterday. I think it was one of the ones from the Advisor.
Okay.
Australian Broking. It's the Australian Broking Awards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they're taking applications, and it must be for the financial year, July to July. So can you
definitely make sure your submissions.
Can you put in an application for me?
I'll help you with that.
I'll got you on that. I got it on camera. Yeah. I'm gonna email you.
We'll just cut that piece out. No.
Nah, I'm good, man. So you want to cover anything else?
Look, I just wanted to say thank you for all your support. It's been great working with you and your team. It's been awesome to see the growth journey that you've been on. I know from the awards night, you called me the next day and said how much of a good night you had, and that you've already started plotting your next plan. And I remember the call we had when you engaged 10 times, and I'd be calling you and saying, how you're going, are you chasing new business? And you would sort of switch your mindset to the growth mindset. You're so obsessed with growing it, and now it's nice to see it come to fruition for you.
Yeah, cheers, man. I think the growth is more like, my end goal is to have a really big business, but it's what I can give back to the people that work within it. And this new thing that I want to do with the charity, just imagine 5% of your trail for your life. It's a small amount for the broker, and it's not something you really notice, but over time, you've seen how big trail books can get, and the amount of money that can raise, man, like it's going to be good. But the big thing is the office environment, because you're spending every day with these people. You want to make sure that these people are like your family.
That's right.
And that's one of my biggest visions of what I want to achieve.
Yeah, that's nice. Look after your staff, they'll look after you.
Yeah, so come work for us, bro. Nah, all good. Thanks for coming, man.
Thanks for having me here.
If you like this episode, please like everything. All the links will be in the show notes. Give your Instagram, man. Everyone's going to follow you. There's millions of people watching this. You're single, yeah? I've
got a partner.
Oh, no worries. Thanks, guys.